Fellow fight fans, what up? It's your boy MMT, and let's talk fights. Let's go Phils, then fighting Phils. Gotta start off with that, but let's talk UFC 294. The co-main and the main event. Let's talk about what went down. We saw Kamaru Usman, in my opinion, improve his stock. He stepped up 11 days notice, and he gave Khamzat a hell of a fight. In fact, if that fight goes 5 rounds, Kamaru Usman is victorious. He was winning the 3rd round for sure, and you could give the 2nd round to him as well. I feel like that fight could have been a draw. Khamzat, he starts out so hot, but I think what we've seen is that if you can survive the 1st round with Khamzat Chimaev, you have a great chance of victory if you just drag him into those deep waters, because he is so lethargic late in the fight. So slow, like he's in molasses. And I really think Kamaru, if he had a full training camp, he could have probably won in that 3-round fight. But definitely, even without a training camp, could have won if that was a 5-round fight. He was landing the better strikes in that 3rd round. And Khamzat does not deserve the title shot. He's never beat a ranked middleweight. Yes, he beat one of the greatest, if not the greatest welterweight of all time. But he did it in about a week and a half's notice. And he barely did it. Are we really going to give him Sean Strickland after he hasn't really proven he deserves it? Dricus du Plessis is the true deserving contender. You got to give Dricus the fight. He's the guy that knocked out the Reaper. He knocked out Robert Whittaker, one of the greatest middleweights of all time. So you got to give it to DDP. The UFC probably going to give Khamzat that fight. And honestly, I hope Strickland is victorious. I would love to see Strickland defend that belt a couple times. What I think should happen is Izzy versus Khamzat to truly determine who the #1 contender is. I think the timelines work out well. Izzy wants to take a couple months off. Khamzat just fought. He said he probably broke his hand, hurt something in his arm, so he's going to need a couple months to recover. Works out perfect. I think that if he has that time to recover, Izzy has that time to really mentally recover, figure out some things. That's going to be a great fight. And give DDP that title shot against the champion, Sean Strickland. Now, let's talk about that main event. Alexander Volkanovski is a savage. Stepping up like that, putting everything on the line as far as his chance at becoming a lightweight champion. Islam Makhachev has proven that he is, pound for pound, the #1 fighter on planet Earth. Not only is his grappling incredible, but his striking is sensational. That head kick was so fast, so crisp, and he set it up perfect with the low kick, body kick, boom, right to the dome. Perfection. And then, what a humble guy. Instead of celebrating in his most incredible moment of his entire career, of his entire life, he tells everyone to quiet down. Show respect to Alexander Volkanovski, and it's why we love MMA, why we love these fighters, because they are so humble, because they understand how much work, how much sacrifice went in to getting where they are, and only few can understand that, and they give each other that respect. And Islam, for making sure that everyone respected Volk in that moment and telling everyone to be quiet and settle down, was incredible. And where does it go from here? I think because Charles was the guy that was rightfully supposed to be fighting for that belt, I think you have to give Charles that next shot against Islam. But man, I don't see a scenario, despite how great Charles looked against Beneil, I do not see a scenario where Islam Makhachev is losing. In fact, I think Islam may be better than Khabib because his striking is far superior to Khabib's. We never saw Khabib throwing such a crisp head kick like that. In fact, he submitted all of his opponents, and he's only defended his belt 3 times, against McGregor, against Gaethje, against Poirier, and they weren't 1st-round finishes, I'll tell you that. He had to drag him. Islam got a 1st-round finish, and he finished Charles early as well. That's 2 title defenses already. 1 more, and he's already tied with Khabib. And the guy is, 30? He's got a lot of time left, and he only seems to be improving with every fight. So, sky's the limit for this guy. He's pound for pound #1. got to put John Jones number 2, I'd say, after moving up to heavyweight and completely annihilating Cyril Gane the way he did. But, man, it's crazy times for UFC. We got some great fighters, some great fights to make, and I'm excited. UFC 294 wasn't the greatest card, but those 2 main events showed why we love this sport. That's all I got for you guys. Let's go. Psh.